Hey guys, what's going on? Hold on one second. Let me get everything set up as per usual. Everything going here. Gotta wait till I get everything set up before I can start talking about our topic. I can kind of start talking about it a little bit. But basically, I think it's going to be like kind of like wrestling breakdown or whatever. This is going to be wrestling topics. But Thursday and Friday, that's what we talk about. Yesterday was State of Wrestling, which pretty much is a pretty obvious thing to do. Thursday, I don't watch any other wrestling, but if I did, I would just talk about the next following week, most likely wrestling. So that being said, up here. Because there's really no need for me to be live. That would be kind of weird. Hold on. What is that about? I got a freaking tube buddy thing on here. Anyways. All right. I'm going to put hi there on there. We're here. And yeah. Move this over a little bit. Accessible. So I can see myself, what's going on. All right, so the WWE Network. So bad thing for them to remind us on 205 Live, and it made me want to do this video and how I would help the WWE up there. I was like, don't you dare move. But Michael Cole decided to, I think it was Michael Cole, who decided to remind us, but they decided to remind us they had the UK tournament January. Oh my God. And they did have to do anything with the network, the UK division. Talk about today. So, how I would set up the UK division and basically how I would incorporate it into the WWE's product is what I kind of want to discuss with you today. What I think, and I think I talked about this before, just randomly all over my things I talked about wrestling, but I kind of wanted to do a direct topical video and to give you, because I kind of have a little bit more framing of a mind, and I'll kind of give some more inputs as the other ideas I have that the WWE Network should adopt. I'm pretty sure I've already talked about this in another video. I think I talked about like how the WWE Network should be something like a platform for, I think I did. I don't know if I uploaded that, about for other wrestling companies to kind of be on. And I think that's the way the WWE should be. And that should be maybe another old topic, but I'm pretty sure I did that video. I don't know, whatever. I'm just going to add it to this one. It is already set in stone. And honestly, what I would do is I would go overseas. I would find a UK wrestling company that was already pretty much established, that doesn't really have a television product. That would be the biggest thing that I would try and find, is find a company that really doesn't have a television product or is not really accessible online. I think ICW would be the great promotion to just buy out. And to be quite honest, that's what I would do. I would just approach them and say, hey, I would like to buy the company, make you an employee. I would like to hire you to run this promotion. And I think with what, you can tell them and say, hey, this is what we want from the product. We want it to kind of be, kind of not like ECW extreme, but you can be a little edgy, but don't be too edgy. Because we know how ICW is. I've seen some videos online of how edgy they are. And I think they do have some online content, but it's not a major thing. They didn't want to do the deal. I mean, that's fine. Just say, well, when we're going to take our wrestlers and we're going to go elsewhere, which might hurt that company because they actually use, I think, they use Noam Dar and they use some other people that the WWE lets them use, I think, because they don't put them under strict contracts. Some of the 205 Live guys and the UK guys, they don't put them under strict contracts. But I think that if ICW or Progress or something like that decided that they didn't want to be a part of the WWE umbrella, fine, but they would probably have to put the wrestlers under strict contracts and they wouldn't be able to go there anymore. So I think that what should happen is, I think Progress is a really good company, but they have a little bit of I think a lot of younger talent that really just isn't ready for WWE, and I think that could be a problem. But I think it has a good name, because if you think about it, that's a great name, because you have NXT, which kind of short for next, which means they're next in line to go to the main roster, or next that could possibly go there. Progress kind of fits in with that, where called Progress. Progress is that these people may end up on the main roster someday. So that would be kind of a cool thing. ICW would be interesting too. I don't know. I think it would be a cool addition. And I think ICW doesn't really sound like an international brand. I mean, it could be International Championship Wrestling, and they could rebrand it at one point if they decided to, and make it, if they wanted to make it International Championship Wrestling, to where they would hire, all the, ethnicities and just put them onto that promotion and have them wrestle, and then whoever they feel like they can pull up to the main roster anytime. But I think that's kind of what they need to do, is they kind of need another promotion. And I think this is the problem with the WWE now, is they're getting so big that they need something. They need more farm systems. They need more companies that are going to be working under them. And I think that there's a problem to have, because they have way too much talent than what they need right now. And that's kind of a problem, but it's kind of not a problem. So it's kind of a backwards kind of problem to have, because you have such top stars in the company right now that you really can't give the world championship to. You can't give them the proper time for stories on Raw and SmackDown. You just can't really give them the justice that they need to have with the company. So with that being said, what I would do is, like I said, I would go over there. I would offer a company, one, maybe Progress would be the right idea to go to and, buy them out. But that's in general what I would think they should do. They should go over there, buy a wrestling company, basically give them all the supplies to run, hire people, that are UK based, that know how to operate cameras and so forth and everything, go through interview processes. It's a thing they should have already started by now in the UK, to run a show, that they could run a show for the network and have execs in place in the UK for the WWE. And I think this is something that they're probably going to, this is the problem that we're going to see going forward, I think, is that whatever they put in place in the UK, blueprint for what they do all around the world. And the wrestling company, I think what we could see here is, I don't know if Australia really has enough wrestlers per se to say we can start a company there. Japan, I would say yes. And UK, I would say yes. Europe, probably, yeah. I mean, well, UK and Europe, basically, I would kind of mush them together. And, you got Japan. I don't know any other kind of wrestling that you could. I mean, Mexico is another one that there's like CMLL and AAA, I believe, are still going, and they're huge promotions. They have probably, I know they have like tons of wrestlers on a contract, so that would be an interesting place also to think about opening up a division there, and kind of starting the kind of a Mexican, and that could be the next thing that they're looking at, is a a Latin America. I don't know what you would call it. I don't know what they would call it, to be honest. Like, what's the proper term? The Puerto Rican Challenge or something like that? Or I don't know. It was hard. Just have to be Mexican in Mexico, or the Mexico Championship Tournament or something like that. And that would be, luchadors and stuff like that coming into. I mean, I would assume that's probably the next thing. But I think like I said, once they do the blueprint for what's going to happen in the UK, they've got to copy that. And basically, like I said, they just need to hire people to work there, to run cameras, do everything like that. They need to know how it operates so that they can record, send feeds to the WWE. I mean, really, they don't have to do anything on their end. I think that what they would do is send something a feed, record what they're recording, send it to the Stanford headquarters, and somebody will do something with the footage there. There probably would be a delay because their footage in the UK would be different, and they would probably be more on the WWE's time, but they probably could fix it to where it would go up on the UK time. Or honestly, you know, let some network in the UK get that footage as well. But, you know, I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot of logistics involved, and that's probably why they're having such a big problem. But I don't really see the problem in that because they should have already hired all the execs, and they should be announcing, like, honestly, if I would have went for the show at the Survivor Series, saying that was going to be happening, so that by WrestleMania time, that they would have basically a pay-per-view happening, like at some point match at WrestleMania for the UK Championship being online. I kind of hope that they do put the UK title on the line this year at WrestleMania. I was hoping last year, but instead, I think it was on the NXT show, wasn't it? Or were they in a tag match? I think they might have been in a tag match in the opening. No, they didn't have the UK. That's right. I wasn't there yet. It was at SummerSlam, I think, that they had the title change hands with Pete Dunne, which was an amazing match, probably match of the year candidate. I talked about that on the State of Wrestling yesterday. Yeah, so there you go. And so as far as that goes, that's how I would book the UK basically, and you know, I would start having shows. You know, basically the guys they got, slowly bring in, have a couple talent people there, and have, you know, Triple H, Vince, you know, Regal, you know, have a look at some of the newer guys. If they have, you know, people they want them to check out, they would have scouts, they would have talent agents, they would shoot film, they would send it back, and there would be deals made, probably left and right for UK talent, division and stuff like that. And I think it would be a smooth process, to be quite honest, because once you got people in place, you kind of got a whole new, you know, company over there basically that could run their own stuff, and all they're doing is feeding it to WWE headquarters and them putting their editing skills to the test. They're super good editors, making it all professional, putting all the extra graphics on there, putting the WWE emblem on there, everything. They wouldn't have to take care of that stuff. All they need is somebody to shoot the wrestling, make it look halfway professional, and you know, let them do their thing. Let them go out there, have the wrestling matches however they want. It should be the same way 205 Live is done, to be completely honest. And that's why I kind of think if they get the blueprint for the UK done, they should kind of take the aspect with the 205 Live and kind of, you know, let them have their own thing. Give them a 2-hour show each week. Have them go out there and say, okay, this is the time slot you have. We're going to do. We're going to give you guys Friday night. We're going to give, you know, the UK guys Thursday night. You know, that's what they need to do. You know, because you don't want to give the people too much wrestling, because that's crazy. And it's getting to the point to where, and if you think about this, where that WWE is headed, there's going to be wrestling every single day coming from just the WWE. Outside of that, I mean, just think about all the other stuff. You know, Ring of Honor, New Japan, which New Japan is not really like up to date kind of stuff like in the US. That's where we need to get to with New Japan. That's a problem we have with New Japan. Once we get to that point, then that's going to be super interesting. And you know, when will WWE try to have a Japanese, you know, classic? Is probably the next step. Is that they're gonna go to New Japan and probably talk to them and make deals, things like that. But I think, and I kind of think Vince McMahon may think that New Japan's in kind of infringing on his territory, since they're getting ready to have another show, and this is the second now tapings that they're going to have in the coming year in California. So that's pretty cool that they're doing that. Oh, with that being said, let's kind of talk about the WWE Network. So the WWE Network, it's great. And if you don't have the WWE Network and you watch Raw every week, it's really the best thing you could ever get. If you have Netflix, everything that Netflix gives you, think about as a wrestling fan. If there was a wrestling Netflix, this is what it is. And the thing with this is none of the stuff will ever go away. I don't believe none of the stuff will ever go away. The only thing I can see happening in the future is because there is so much content. And at some point, I would assume that the WWE will go, okay, we need to break this down. We need to have tiers where if somebody's not interested in ECW, then they shouldn't have to pay for it. And they kind of break it down, but it would kind of make more sense. Like if somebody likes every single thing, then they would probably just pay a little extra and they can get everything. But if somebody's just tuning in to get, the WWE product, and that's all they want. They don't care about WCW. They don't care about ECW. They don't care about Mid-South Wrestling or they just want the WWE, WWF stuff right there. They want the pay-per-views every month, and they also want some of the older content like from the Attitude Era and stuff like that. Boom, you get that for $10. This is what I can see happening. Then you have WCW you can get for $5 extra a month. You can get ECW for $5 extra a month, and it would be $20 to get all this content. This is where I think an interesting thing could happen for maybe somebody, maybe like an ICW, maybe like a Progress Wrestling, and say, hey, yeah, we want to do this, but we kind of want a little bit of the money as well coming from this. And you can say, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to charge $1.99 extra if people want to see the UK division. It's an easy $2. People would pay for it, and it wouldn't be that bad. What I think would be big is if it got big enough to make their own company and to do pay-per-views and to do stuff like that. I think it would be interesting. I would honestly shave it down to an hour of wrestling. Basically what I would do. Or give them 2 hours, but we probably have to see how it works. I think giving them, like for the first year, give them an hour show. Have them do what they need to do, and then have their build-up matches on a WWE pay-per-view. Have the guys travel. The championship will be online at the pay-per-views. Maybe the UK tag title and the UK world title would be on a pay-per-view. That's what we would do. It wouldn't happen all the time, or it would be on the Monday Night Raw. I don't know, something like that. I think it could be, or there would be some kind of interpromotional branding and have a special on the WWE Network, and they would travel to the U.S. to have kind of a special show, and there would be other titles on the line. Maybe AJ defends his world championship, in the main event, but it's a UK spectacular, and maybe he would face Tyler Bate and defend his title. I don't know, something weird like that. But I think having different tiers on the network sets up something that I think that WWE should do, and I'm still kind of surprised that they still haven't did this, because it's something why they haven't thought of this, and I really don't. WWE, if you see this video, first of all, any promotion would want to be on the WWE Network. If you could set up a tier system like satellite companies that say, hey, you want HBO, Showtime, Cinemax, you have to pay this much extra for HBO, this much extra for Showtime, this much extra for Cinemax, NFL Network, whatever. They have this stuff. It's something that occurs in these kind of streaming services. They should do is go to guys like Ring of Honor, TNA, whatever you want to call them, Impact Wrestling, whatever. New Japan, AAA, CMLL. These guys have this entire huge catalog. If they pay to set up something where they have access to this entire library, it would be amazing. And I think even if it was to the point to where you were paying for the stuff, but being able to access it on the WWE Network would be amazing. Wouldn't it be awesome? Just wouldn't it be awesome if you could tune in and you can go to the WWE Network and it pops up and it says CMLL. And I don't know a pay-per-view name, so I'm just going to go with like Super Mexico Fest or Super Mexico Wrestling #2 or something. And it's like an old wrestling thing. Savio Vega's on there, and a bunch of old time wrestlers. Hushin Liger makes an appearance. I'm just guessing here. I don't know if he's ever wrestled in Mexico, but like, wouldn't it be cool if you could click on an old pay-per-view with Eddie Guerrero in it, and Rey Mysterio, and Hector Guerrero, and the Guerrero family in there, in Mexico, Eddie, or the original Chavo Guerrero wrestling in Mexico. That would be really insane. Hector Guerrero, wrestling. I remember Juice, who wrestled in WCW for a brief time, and then I think he passed. I don't know if he overdosed or something like that. He was, I think, Eddie Guerrero's tag partner. A lot of charisma this guy had. I remember him being in WCW. He was very over with the fans and big. He would have been a huge star in WCW if he wouldn't have passed. I'm telling you right now, because if you just think how charismatic Eddie was, just think of the same kind of guy with face paint, white and black face paint. And this guy was it. I mean, he was there when John Tenta, or wait, no, it was, I can't think of his name. Was Norman was his name. I know he had a little teddy bear, a kind of more of a timid guy. I think he wrestled with somebody. I think it might have been Bastion Booger, but he was Norman in WCW. I'm pretty sure that's who it was, because I think they hired him, and then when he brought him in WWE, they made him Bastion Booger. It was pathetic. Anyways, but anyways, yeah, wouldn't it be awesome? You can go on there, click AAA, pick a pay-per-view. Even if it says, comes up and things that this pay-per-view is $3.99 to purchase, $4.99 to rent, and you go, okay, well, I just want to rent it, I just want to watch it, and you get it for like 2 weeks to watch or whatever. I think it'd be interesting. I think it's cool. I think it would take a little bit more, to put into the network. They would probably have to put a little more logistics into it. But I mean, think about it. You could put, maybe a warehouse with computers in Mexico that would have all that content on there, and you would have some in UK doing the same thing, where you could get Progress, ICW, then we're talking about All Japan, New Japan, getting them to sign contracts. And it's not even something to say, hey, we want to be in talks with you, we want to make trades with wrestlers. No, it has nothing to do with that. It's them earning money and them being able to put their content in a place where all wrestling fans can get to. And I think that's something that the wrestling companies in the world need to think about, because, hey, if the WWE could say, hey, we don't care, we just want to, and we'll take a small percentage of, we'll take a percentage, but we won't take a big percentage. If they went to them and said, hey, we'll take 20%, and you can have the rest. It'd be pretty cool, because if they just tiered it, okay, New Japan, you have this tons of content. We know people want your content. We'll charge them, $10 extra a month on the network to get your stuff. TNA, the same deal, $10 extra a month to get all this TNA content added to it, and you could take it off and move it back on anytime you wanted. So if 1 month you wanted to have New Japan, you could have that, and you can take it off next month, or you can trade it. Like, there'll be things where if you don't want it, you can take it off, but you can't switch it back until the end of the month. Something like that. Like, they would be able to have like points or something. Something too. That's something I think I talked about in another video too, is giving credits per month for the network, and then you can only watch like so many things on the network. And if you wanted more, you have to purchase more credits, and maybe some would be more credits than others. Maybe pay-per-views would be free, because that's what this kind of the deal of what's going on. But I think that's kind of what the problem is right there, is that they want us to pay. They do this network, but they don't get a whole lot of compensation for the big four pay-per-views anymore, which is, whatever. But that becomes kind of a huge problem, because now they rely on that WWE network. So something, like I said, something to get more eyes on the product is to work with these other organizations out there. You don't have to be in competition with them. I mean, pretty much there's no competition to the WWE right now. They have nothing to worry about right now. What they need to do is start building that competition up. They need to start building them up so that wrestling stays afloat, that the content is always coming, that the fans always have something to watch. So the WWE, if they're failing in giving them something to do, or if the fans aren't happy with the WWE product, the WWE still, and also kind of keep track of what's going on, but they're also going to go check out, New Japan, or they're going to check out old Ring of Honor stuff. Some of the libraries are huge with some of the stuff like CMLL and AAA. I know they've been around for a while, man. Ring of Honor, they have like Punk and Daniel Bryan and Joe matches that WWE, I'm sure, would want to get a hold of. Ring of, I'm pretty sure they've already made a deal with Ring of Honor to have some of the stuff on there. But man, just imagine though, you can go and watch Nigel McGuinness when he was the ROH World Champion, because I do remember that he was the World Champion at one point in Ring of Honor. I remember reading news in the PWI about Ring of Honor just starting, and Nigel McGuinness, I think, like lost to a Japanese wrestler. I totally don't remember who it was. It may have been Hideo Itami when I think he might have showed up in Ring of Honor a couple times. I don't really know. Don't quote me on that. Like I said, I don't know indie wrestling that much. Ring of Honor, New Japan. I don't follow it too much, but I kind of try and follow. And I definitely don't know the history. So, but just imagine, that stuff being on the network and them being able to kind of give the fans what they want. And I know some fans will be like, well, I don't want to pay for that much. But I'm telling you right now, it probably would only be like $5 extra a month or $10 extra a month. And if WWE kind of did a base product of people just watch WWE stuff, okay, well, that's fine. $10 a month for that and the pay-per-views. But they want the other stuff, maybe ECW and WCW is lumped together, and that's $5 extra a month for that stuff. And then, some other stuff, maybe they would add, more money to it. 205 Live, maybe if you want that, you can add that, and the UK division for, five more dollars or something like that, or $2 or $3 more. You can add those things, since they're not going to be huge things right now. In the future, they might be. But I think like the thing they need to think about is, how much content they're giving us for so little money. And that's the biggest thing ever. Like, if you don't have the WWE Network, like, I literally watched the pay-per-view and I'd never seen before. Awesome content. Went on there, clicked away, started watching it. It popped right up, and really, really cool. I don't know how else to explain network. But saying that, I think that it's a great idea. I think that you should think about doing it. Hopefully, in the future, it would be something. And there's so many other like lower independent wrestling promotions that could also benefit from it. Having little companies like that, saying, okay, yeah, like we'll give our content, for and you can just go through all the promotions and say, hey, I want this, 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 and this, and maybe there'd be a deal, that you can click for, like 3 of these channels for $5 extra a month or something like that, and you could pick from like a bunch of independents. You could honestly pick from your local promotion and watch back content from your local promotion. Wow. really, that's kind of neat. I think that should be something that the WWE looks at. I mean, if you're talking about going to Google, hey, I want to work with you guys on helping the WWE Network and getting us kind of integrated, having somebody from Google come and they hire them, to help with getting it streamlined more and getting the things I talked about kind of in there. That would be kind of neat. Anyways, let me know your comments down below what you think about that idea. I think it's awesome. I think they definitely should do it. I think that'd be amazing. I mean, just to think about, and they got to get their system more searchable. It's a huge problem right now, because I can't just type up, like Raven, because he's my favorite wrestler of all time, Raven, and it comes up with like pay-per-view links and what match he was in that one. It doesn't do that. I mean, honestly, it should come up like YouTube, and should come up like thumbnails of the things, and should show him wrestling during the match. And every match should be, by section. Every interview, every promo should be broken down. in the network. That's a lot of work, but you know, they wanted to start this thing, you know, and they really got to go in, even if they didn't do it like automatically, but over time, you know, they kept on breaking down stuff and putting the promos like in the search engine so you can search for them. So if I could search up, you know, Ultimate Warrior promo or Ultimate Warrior interview, that's probably what it would be called. Interview promo, maybe what they would call it. So you could type up that and know it, because wrestling marks wouldn't know what it's actually called, and internet marks wouldn't know what it's called. You know, Ultimate Warrior interview promo, and you know, it comes up and it has all his interviews he's ever done. You can click on it, and you know, you can go, hey, what he say at the 1990 Royal Rumble? You click on it, and he'll be like, oh, the plane will crash. Blah. Actually, I think that was WrestleMania 6. If you go to see WrestleMania 6 promo, Ultimate Warrior, it pops right up. That's what the WWE Network should be all about. Anyways, let me know your comments down below. What do you think about what I talked about? Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. More wrestling content. Thursday, Friday is your wrestling content right here on the Brad Tragic channel. And have any more ideas for different types of videos, let me know. The new schedule, you know, Saturday, Sunday is my music stuff. Monday through Wednesday is kind of my catch-all, where I'll probably do music or movie reviews and review this and any other kind of videos I come up with. That's kind of my just brainstorming days. And also, don't be surprised if I shoot up some other videos. Will come up some other times as well. There may just be bonus videos pop up. So that is my set schedule, but any other videos past that, they may just come up on a random day. I think I put up a wrestling video extra this past week, or at the beginning of this week. So like I said, content, if you like certain content on the channel, just keep an eye on the upload section, and whatever you like on the channel, stay tuned to it. Subscribe and follow, however, bell notification if you really want to know when the videos upload, or if you just get on your desktop, like I said, subscribe, keep watching your feed, and let me know what you would like to see in the future and what videos you like on the channel previously. Anything else? I don't think so. Anyways, keep rocking and keep on watching wrestling. Later, guys.